And time for Focus now, and Portugal was on the brink of bankruptcy thanks to the global financial crisis back in 2008. However, the tide has turned and the nation is now experiencing an economic revolution. Unemployment has dropped while the public deficit has fallen to its lowest in more than 40 years. So what's behind this financial turnaround? This report from France 2 Télévision.
An economic renaissance that the country had been hoping for. After several years of crisis, Portugal's traditional industries have been given a new lease of life. Export growth, modernisation, and a country that's been attracting more and more foreign investors. So just how did the country get back on the path of financial growth? In the north lies the industrial region of Guimarães. Here, textiles and shoe factories managed to break free from the nation's economic crisis. The secret to their success, adapting quickly for new markets. For this shoe factory, that meant ending large-scale, low-cost production. Faced with cheaper competition from Asia, the manager here has focused manufacturing on small-scale batches of medium to high-quality items. These can be delivered within 24 hours, thanks to new machinery.
This allows us to be faster and more competitive. If we had to use the former technique, where we made molds for every pair of shoes, that would take us at least 15 days longer.
As for the 600 workers here, that meant accepting that their salary would not be increased over the past few years. But it's a sacrifice that they don't regret.
We couldn't have even imagined making shoes like these 20 years ago. Today we're very proud of what we produce.
Using innovation to tap into new markets, a method that's begun to pay off. Now the company's exports increase by 8% every year.
Here are orders for France, for Ireland, Canada, and Taiwan.
And the textile industry is not the only sector to have picked up recently. Farming has also witnessed a revolution, with priority being given to more profitable products like olive oil. This land was untouched greenfield 7 years ago. Today, it's the largest farm in the country.
This is a super intensive olive grove. Trees here are tied together. That allows us to have 2,000 olive groves on just 1 hectare. And we've even installed a drip system.
In these tanks, there's more production but of a higher quality to compete with Italian and Spanish olive oils.
Due to historical reasons, Portugal did not produce good quality olive oil. But by using these new techniques, we've been starting to produce magnificent liquid gold.
Exports here grow by 20% every year, especially those destined for France. But Portugal hasn't just modernised its economy. It's also taken on an aggressive strategy, giving businesses advantageous conditions, tax exemptions, subsidies, and a reduction in corporate tax rates to just 21%. In this new aerospace centre, Portugal's rolled out the red carpet for French business. 14,000 square metres of factory space to build motor parts for Airbus and Boeing.
Yes, the site was opened up to us. Acquiring land and construction permits has also been made easier.
The companies even receive subsidies. This is part of a two-way deal, giving the Portuguese state more control over a range of factors, such as employment and investment strategy.
We have 5 objectives to reach within a certain time frame. For us, that's 2020. The financial aid that we're given during this period depends on us reaching these goals. If we don't reach them, then we're cut off from this aid.
Portugal's economy grew by 2.8% this year. That's the highest recorded level in a decade.
And joining me now is Jesus Castillo, an economist who specialises in Southern Europe. Thanks for coming in. Jesus, we've seen there that obviously they've recovered, but why did they get to the point where the country became virtually bankrupt?
Yes, this is a long story because this is basically the legacy of past imbalances from the creation of the Eurozone in 1999 to 2008. And what were these imbalances? Public finance deficits from 1999 to 2008. Portugal has been in excessive deficit procedure 2 times. So this has resulted in a big and a huge public debt that has been weighing on the economy. But not only public debt, also private sector's indebtedness has increased significantly during this period, thanks to the low interest rate and the facility to access to credit.
So what did the country do in order to recover economically and in a relatively short period of time as well?
Yes, there was 2 steps in the recovery. The first one during the period when the country was under control of the Troika, the ECB, the IMF, and the European Commission. So they have no choice to implement all the structural reforms they asked to the country against the financial assistance. So it's public administration reform, it's expenditure reductions, tax hike, but also pension reforms, labor market reforms. So that's very, very huge reforms with a social cost.
I was going to say, though, because in terms of, you look at somewhere like Greece or Spain, where there's been a lot of protest against austerity, I mean, have we seen the same degree of resistance from the Portuguese population or political parties, or has there been a sense of, we need to do this, we need to take these harsh steps, and we just have to suck it up?
Yes, finally, Portugal was a good student in the financial assistance process compared to Spain or Greece, because they really implement all the reforms they asked to the country to recover financial freedom, I would say. So in this sense, yes, Portugal has not resisted as Greece, and now it is paying.
And were there any sectors that were particularly favoured during this recovery process?
I think the question is not which sectors they have to develop or to abandon. We have seen in the video that what is working in Portugal. The footwear manufacturer says, I have improved my exports because I have access to new technologies. So he has invested in new technologies. He has tried to improve the quality of his production. And it's the same for the olive oil producers. He says, I'm in competition with Italian and Spanish producers, so I have to improve. And that's a way they can recover.
So what can be learned by other countries from the Portuguese experience?
That structural reforms are costly, but they can pay in the medium term. But the current situation is just a first step for Portugal. If they want to go further, they have still to work a lot and to continue to improve the quality of their production, because they cannot compete indefinitely with low-cost countries, because it will result in low wages and a sluggish domestic demand. And this is not sustainable in the long term for the population. You cannot have a Eurozone country poor if it doesn't develop.
Jesus Castillo, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.